So let us continue the discussion on the topic place of supply. In the last lecture, we discussed two services, goods transportation service and passenger transportation service under section 12. Now these are specified services. These are specified services where we have set rules to determine the place of supply. There are 12 specified services where we have separate rules to determine place of supply. Other than 12 services, remaining services, for all remaining services, we have simple one common rule. So we have discussed around, I think 7. We have discussed, I think, around 7 specified services. Let me continue the discussion now on the next specified service, which is services provided on board a conveyance. Let me share with you the act first, IGST Act. This is section 12, subsection 10. This is what I am going to discuss now, because in the last lecture I have discussed section 12, subsection 8 and subsection 9. Now this is my section 10, subsection 10. This is the next service. The place of supply of services on board a conveyance, including a vessel, an aircraft, a train or a motor vehicle, shall be the location of the first scheduled point of departure of that conveyance for the journey. First scheduled point of departure of that conveyance for the journey. Now, do you remember that we have already covered one concept related to on-board a conveyance, but that was goods. If you remember section 10, subsection 1, clause E, where I have given you the examples when you consume chips on a train. The train is coming from Delhi and going to Kolkata, and there will be different states, different stoppages in different states. So in that case, when goods were supplied on board a conveyance, the place of supply is the place where those goods were taken on board that conveyance. Let me show you section 10, subsection 1, clause E, so that there is no confusion in your mind. This was section 10, subsection 1, clause E. The goods are supplied, goods. Do remember the word goods. Now when I'm showing you the provision, I'm showing these services. So these are goods, where the goods are supplied on board a conveyance, including a vessel, an aircraft, a train or a motor vehicle. The place of supply shall be the location at which goods are taken on board. Now I am not using this sentence, where goods are taken on board, because goods are tangible assets. I can easily check from which station these were taken on board, but I cannot see this in case of services. Services are intangible. You cannot take services on board. Services when provided are intangible. So now when I am using the concept of determining place of supply in case of services which are supplied on board a conveyance, I am not using this concept. Now I am using what? Now the concept which I am using is the place of supply shall be the location, not where services are taken on board. You cannot take services on board. Location of the first scheduled point of departure of that entire conveyance for the journey. So even if the train is having different stoppages, if the train has started from Delhi and going till Kolkata, and during the journey if you have demanded any service, then we will not check at which place we have demanded the service. The place of supply will become Delhi. Let me assume the example. Let me show this through the notepad so that it's clear to you without any confusion. Now this is my next service. Now, the point is, so I'm continuing place of supply of services section 12. And if you remember, I'm covering domestic supplies technically. In section 12, the provisions are when location of supplier plus location of recipient both must be within India. Only then I can apply this section 12. So I am discussing now my 8th special service, or I should not use the word special, it is specified. Services provided on board a conveyance. So in this case, what is the place of supply? Is not the place where services are taken on board. No, is the first scheduled point of departure. Example. Train is going from Delhi to Kolkata and will pass through, for example, Haryana, UP, maybe MP, little bit of area, Bihar, for example. Now, when train was in UP, for example, when train was in UP, in this train I demanded a passenger, Mr. X, demanded to watch. Now, in India, normally we don't have I don't think in India we have such trains where we can demand to watch a movie. In air, this facility is available. But normally we don't have this facility where at the back of every seat, just like airplane, we have the small screen installed also where we can watch the movie as per our own wish. We don't have this situation as far as trains are concerned, as far as what I know. Maybe gradually we'll be having the trains where with every seat at the back side we'll be having screens also, and where we can ask to watch any movie by paying the amount. Maybe this facility will come later on. As far as I know, I don't think this facility exists today in India. Mr. X demanded to watch a movie. For example, Mr. X demanded to watch a movie, Mission Impossible. It's a Hollywood movie, and there are different parts of this movie, you can say. Mission Impossible 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. Rogue Nation, Fallout. It's very good series of movie. If you have not watched it, you should try. Tom Cruise is the lead actor. You should try this. It's very interesting. The entire series of this, around 6 or 7 series have come, and the next one is in already making, will come soon. Now, Mr. X demanded to watch a movie, Mission Impossible Fallout, when the train was in UP, and he agreed to pay, for example, 500 for this. So of course there will be GST because it's a service. Now the question arises, what is the place of supply? Can you tell me the place of supply? Mr. X from Delhi, Indian Railway, of course, within India, so section 12 is applicable. Now can you tell me what is the place of supply? Any answer? What is the place of supply?
So Delhi.
Delhi becomes the place of supply. Place of supply is Delhi. This is what the point is. Delhi becomes the place of supply. Now suppose this CD was this CD was taken in the train when the train was in Haryana. The CD of Mission Impossible, CD or DVD of Mission Impossible was taken on board the train when the train was in Haryana. In that case, can you tell me what is the place of supply? Right now, I am assuming that when the train started from Delhi, this CD was there in the train when the train was in Delhi. But now I am assuming that suppose this CD was taken in the train when the train was in Haryana. In that case, can you tell me what is the place of supply?
Haryana.
Haryana. Okay. Any other answer? Any other answer? When the train started from Delhi, but this CD of Mission Impossible was taken in the train when the train was stopped at a station in Haryana. And now when the passenger is in UP, he asked to watch a movie. In that case, what is the place of supply? Any answer? So someone has given me the answer, place of supply Haryana. Is Haryana correct? Is the answer correct, Haryana? Or still the place of supply remain Delhi? What do you say? Answer will be Delhi itself, not Haryana. Why? Answer will remain Delhi. Because I am not supplying the goods. In case of goods, the answer is the place where goods are taken on board. In case of services, the answer is not dependent on the place where services are taken on board. Answer still remains the same as per the provisions of the Act. First scheduled point of departure of that conveyance. Conveyance means the train in this example. So still the answer remains Delhi. Is the point clear? The person who has said Haryana, is the point clear that Delhi is the answer?
Yes, sir. But he got the CD at Haryana, so the GST should be paid at Haryana. But the GST should be paid at Haryana because he got the CD at Haryana.
What are you saying?
So I'm saying is since the CD was bought at Haryana,
No. I'm not
so
saying that CD was bought. It was given on rent. CD will not be given to this passenger.
okay,
Okay. So it might look like a good to you, but it's designing of information technology software. I think you have forgotten that we have covered Schedule 2 also. And Schedule 2, it was mentioned that which supplies are treated as supplies of goods and which supplies are treated as supplies of services. Do you remember this? Designing of information technology is something related to IT is always treated as service. Though CD is a good, but the real intention, the real worth of that CD, if it is blank, is of no cost. This is the CD has the movie in it, so technically it's a service. I'm not going to pay 500 rupees just to have a blank CD. I'm paying it because it has a movie. So in Schedule 2, designing of information technology software, implementing information technology related items is treated as supply of services, not goods. Is the point clear or not?
yes, sir.
Are you getting something or not?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so this passenger is not purchasing the movie. He will watch the movie and railway will take back this CD back. Take this CD back. So this passenger is availing the services only. It's like a rent to watch this movie. Point clear that place of supply still remains Delhi because I'm not discussing goods, I'm discussing services. Had it been a good, then the answer would have been Haryana. Point clear?
Yes, sir.
Or still any doubt? If the point is 100% clear without any slight confusion. Even if there is slight confusion, please ask. In case you have any confusion in CD, you can take the example of, for example, barber. I am availing hair cutting services when the train is moving. I am availing hair cutting services. And barber, the railway has hired the services of a barber from Haryana. So the barber took the train when the train was in Haryana. In that case also, it does not matter from where the barber has catch the train. In case of services, when the services are provided on board a conveyance, whatever is the service, the answer is the first scheduled point of departure of that conveyance or the train. Please raise your hand if the concept is 100% clear. So in case of goods provided on board a conveyance and services provided on board a conveyance, there is a difference. Please raise your hand if the concept is 100% clear without any doubt. Next point. Next point. Telecommunication services. So like mobile phones, landline, cable, DTH, direct to home, etc. These all are telecommunication services, and this is little bit lengthy. Lengthy, of course, but logical. Now, in this, the Act has divided the concepts in different parts. That if you are taking landline, if you are taking landline connection, then what are the rules to determine place of supply? If you are taking prepaid connection, so many people have prepaid mobile phones, then what are the rules to determine place of supply? If you are taking postpaid connection, people have mobile phone in postpaid form also, where bill will come and you have to pay. Then we have different rules. And then remaining other cases, other residuary cases of telecommunication. If not covered in earlier 3 points, that means it is, let me give it name 1, 2, 3 and 4. If not covered in these first 3 categories, then what is the answer? Now logically, how do you determine the place of supply? In landline, I will show you the Act also, section 12 and subsection 11. Now in telecommunication, logically, suppose I have my phone, landline phone at my home. What is the place to supply logically? The place where the connection is installed. It's logical. I will show you the Act. So I'm not, whenever we discuss any legal subject, we don't have our freedom to frame our own opinion easily. We have to refer what the Act says, and we have to discuss on those bases what the Parliament through Act has said to us. So the place where the connection is installed. In prepaid, we have 3 different cases. So from where the recharge has been done, is it done through online transaction? Now most of the time nowadays, we go with online. Especially people who are educated people, they always prefer online. Paytm, phone pay, internet banking, Bheem application, whatever is the case, through online transaction. Or with the help of what? Authorized selling agents. Companies have their own agents also, own shops you can say, selling agents or big distributors. Or Nowadays, if you have a mobile phone and if you don't use net banking, you can ask your friend also that please do my recharge. So your friend is not the authorized selling agent. So I can say through any person, if the recharge is done through any person, that's it. Now in different cases we have different answers. Now, what is the place to supply when the recharge is done through authorized selling agent? Because when someone is authorized selling agent, the address of the selling agent must be existing in the records of the company who is the service provider of this mobile. Like if I have the Airtel connection and if I am doing the recharge through authorized selling agent of Airtel, Airtel must be having the address of this selling agent office. So the place of supply will be address of the selling agent. In the records of the supplier. Address of the selling agent in the records of the supplier. Now in this case I am assuming that address exists if available. Only then I can give this answer. If you don't have the address, then how will I tell you the location or place of supply? So I am assuming that address is existing in the records of the supplier. This is my first point. Now, if it is through any person, for example, the recharge is being done through a friend, then in that case, what is the place of supply? Now, when you are doing the recharge not through authorized selling agent, then company doesn't have the record of your friend. Then you see the location where the amount is paid. Where the prepayment is done. And if it is done through online transaction, because most of the people have online banking, when they do it through online transaction, in that case also address might be existing. So place of supply means neither the location of service selling agent, because now I am myself doing online transaction. Then because if you purchase any connection, even if prepaid or postpaid, company must be having the address. So what is my address? Address of the recipient. So in case of landline, the place where landline connection is installed. In case of prepaid, we have three different cases to see. Check, is the prepaid done through selling agent, or is the prepaid done through online transaction by you yourself, or is the prepaid done through any other person? Through online transaction, okay, by you, by the recipient himself, you can say. If it is through selling agent, then address of the selling agent is the place of supply, provided this address available. In case address is not at all available, how can I tell the place of supply? If through online transaction, address to your address, of course, here also by default my assumption is if available. Of course, if available. And through another person, then of course everyone knows it. So here I will not write if available, because everyone knows where the payment is done. Please raise your hand if till prepaid the concept or this chart is clear. Please raise your hand. Then I will proceed to the postpaid with the help of some examples also. Please raise your hand if the point is clear. Okay. Now next point. Let me show the same notepad now. Now if it is postpaid, now when it is postpaid, then authenticity is more. When it is postpaid, the authenticity is more. Authenticity in what terms? That address must be available. There are very less chances that when you are having postpaid connection of anyone, then the company doesn't have your address. It's not possible practically. So when it is postpaid, then also you have two things. In postpaid, one thing is easy, that your address in the company's record, that's it. So billing address in the records of the company, records of the supplier. I should not use the word company, I should use the word records of the supplier. Of course, one default assumption is there. What is that assumption? If address available, billing address of billing address of recipient in the records of the supplier, if available, of course. Now, 99.99% chances are that the address is available, but let us assume the worst situation that address is not available. If address is not available, then what option you have? Address of the supplier, or you can say location of the supplier. This is the only option I have now. When you don't know the recipient's address, then at least supplier's address is clear. So location of the supplier. That person, by default I can say if not available. If address of recipient not available, if address of the recipient is not available, then the answer is location of supplier. Now what about other cases? Other means what? Other than landline, other than prepaid, other than postpaid, if there is anything. Or even within prepaid, for example, when the services were available through selling agent, I have simply said that address of selling agent if available. Now suppose if address of selling agent is not available, then I will apply which rule? If address not available, what options I have to apply the rule? I will call it as other. I will apply this rule. Whatever is that, I will tell you. Similarly, when online transaction by the recipient is there, I have said that address of recipient is the answer. If address of recipient not available, then also where I will go? Other. Okay, other covers all the cases which are not at all covered in earlier three. And do you know what is the answer of others? Whatever is the rule of postpaid, the same rule applies for others. So postpaid or others are having same rule. So when you study postpaid, by default you are covering miscellaneous cases also. That address of the recipient is the answer if available in the records of the supplier. Otherwise, location of supplier is the answer. That's it. I hope your point is clear. And now, if not clear, then let me start assuming the examples, and I will hope that you will try to answer. Example 1. Mr. X, New Delhi, got installed a landline from Airtel at his home. At his home. For example, Airtel is registered in Mumbai. For example, Airtel registered in Mumbai, Maharashtra. Can you tell me the place of supply? If I will pay 1000 rupees to install this landline, GST of course I will pay. What is the place of supply? Anyone who can give me the answer? Place of supply, landline, telecommunication at his home.
New Delhi.
New Delhi.
New Delhi is the place of supply because I know where the connection connection is installed. New Delhi government gets the revenue, not the Maharashtra government. Second, Mr. Y, New Delhi. On way to Madhya Pradesh for some work. In Madhya Pradesh, on way to Indore, for example. When I was in Indore, my recharge got expired. I simply telephoned my friend or the customer care executive in Haryana, and this customer care executive is the selling agent of, is this authorized distributor of, for doing recharge, is the selling agent of Vodafone Limited, for example. Selling agent of Vodafone Limited, whose phone I am using. Vodafone, I have written Vodafone Limited, whose phone I am using. Now can you see, I am registered in New Delhi. When I was on a visit to Madhya Pradesh, at that time I availed the services of recharge, not through the selling agent who is in Madhya Pradesh, but a selling agent who is in Haryana. A simply telephone and recharge can be done from any place. Vodafone is registered in Maharashtra. Now there are 4 states involved. Can you tell me the place to supply? Think, and can you tell me the place to supply? In Indore, I availed the services through authorized selling agent who is in Haryana of the company which is in Maharashtra. What is the place to supply?
Haryana.
Haryana.
Yes, Haryana is the place to supply, but do you know what assumption you are making here? You are assuming that, what you are assuming? What you are assuming?
Address is available.
Address of the selling agent is available in the records. Now see, actual address must be available. Actual address must be available. We need to check whether address is available in the company's records or not, in the supplier's record or not. Actual address must be available. There must be some office of this executive, but is this address available in the records or not? That is necessary. Assuming the address of selling agent is available in the records of the supplier. If address is not available, then can you tell me the answer? If address is not available in the same question, can you tell me the answer?
Maharashtra.
Maharashtra. Because if I have covered others, in residuary cases, simple is the address. Is address of the recipient available? One thing. So only Maharashtra cannot be the answer. Other case is that, now see where my cursor is moving, if address is not available, I cannot simply say Maharashtra, I will study others. In others, address of the recipient is the answer, if this address is available. If this address not available, then supplier's address. Right now, Haryana is not the address of recipient, it is the address of selling agent. So my answer will be or New Delhi. What I am assuming in New Delhi? Assuming, so this is the sequence which is going on. Assuming the selling agent is not available. Assuming the selling agent address is not available, but you have to think and learn. But assuming recipient's address is available, and not actual address of recipient, whatever is in the records, assuming recipient address is available in the records of the supplier. Okay, So answer depends on assumption. Or in fact, even Maharashtra can be the answer. This is how you should apply the provisions. When Maharashtra is the answer, assuming neither the address of selling agent in the records is available. This word is necessary in the records, because when you say address must be available. When you purchase anything from any shop, address is available. When you say records, then we have to check which address is in the records. That address is the answer, not the actual address. Assuming neither the address of selling agent in the records is available, nor recipient's address. No recipient's address in the records of the company. When I say records, by default I am concerned with the records of the supplier is available. I hope this point is clear. Till this point, if you have any issue, please raise your hand. Sorry, if you don't have any issue, then you raise your hand. If you don't have any issue, raise your hand. If you have any issue, raise your voice then. If the concept of prepaid three different assumptions clear, please raise your hand. If you have any doubt, please ask. Next example now. Same thing. Let me continue with the next example now. So I have given the example of selling agent. Is that so? No, I have given the example of selling agent. I have given the example of selling agent, and if address of selling agent available, that is the answer. If address not available, then also I have answer. If address of recipient is also not available, then also I have answer. So by default, in this prepaid, I have covered others also. By default, postpaid is also covered, because this same rule is applicable for postpaid connections. So by default, I have covered in single example 5 different categories. Which are those 5 different categories I have covered? I have covered this category in that example. I have covered this category for postpaid. I have covered this category for postpaid. I have covered this category for others. I have covered this category for others. Now next point. Now suppose in the same example, let me assume that Mr. Y, New Delhi on way to MP. Third example, Mr. Y, New Delhi is in MP. You can say Indore, MP, and recharge got over. He recharged not through authorized agent. He recharged through a stationary shop. Now anyone can do the recharge nowadays through a stationary shop. Through a stationary shop. And the phone of Vodafone, for example, Maharashtra. What is the place of supply? Can you tell me the place of supply? Prepaid connection. Recipient New Delhi. When he was in Madhya Pradesh, then he got recharged through a stationary shop, and the company was of Vodafone. Now, can you tell me the place of supply? Anyone who can tell me?
So Madhya Pradesh.
Madhya Pradesh. Why?
Madhya Pradesh, assuming that this is available in the record.
Why Madhya Pradesh? What is the place of supply in this case? What is the place of supply? Any answer? Prepaid. What is the place of supply? Answer is Madhya Pradesh. But no question of any assumption. This is the main point. You have said that assuming. No, why should I assume? There is nothing assumption involved. It's simple. When you are charging through any person, then simply check where the prepayment is done. There is no question of any assumption. That's it. The prepayment is done in Madhya Pradesh on that show. It's over. Next one. Mr. K. New Delhi. Registered in New Delhi. He was in Indore, MP. His recharge got over, but he is an educated person. He has net banking. He got himself. He got the recharge done himself through net banking. Company is same. Vodafone. Can you tell me the answer now? Any answer? What is the place of supply?
New Delhi. New Delhi.
New Delhi. Now here you are applying the assumption. What assumption you are applying?
The address is available.
In the records of the supplier, assuming address of recipient is available. Here assumption is working. Or my answer would be, can you tell me what can be my another answer if recipient address is not available? What is my another answer? Suppose address of recipient is not available.
Maharashtra.
Yes. Then the answer is Maharashtra, and here I will apply which rule? Others. This is what you should learn. Because when online transaction, then answer is address of recipient. If available. If not available, again I will check residuary case. And what is the residuary case? If billing address available, had it been available, I would have directly got the answer at this point. So I have only one option available, then location of supplier, if address not available. So by default, if any case of postpaid comes also, for example, Mr. X, Mr. P, New Delhi, postpaid when I was in MP, Vodafone, postpaid. I paid my bill myself. Or not myself, let me say that I asked my friend in postpaid. I asked my friend, Vodafone again Maharashtra. I asked my friend who is in Chennai to pay my bill, and he paid. To pay my bill, and he paid. Can you tell me the place of supply now? What is the place of supply? Think
Chennai.
carefully and tell. Recipient is in New Delhi. He was in MP when he had to pay the bill, otherwise the company would have cut the services. Company is in Maharashtra. He found a friend, his friend who is in Chennai, and that Chennai friend paid the bill. What is the place of supply? Any answer?
New Delhi.
Your voice has not come.
Delhi, sir.
Delhi. Is there any other answer, or Delhi is the place of supply? Delhi is the place of supply. I'm not concerned with online banking or fraud, friend, because for postpaid it does not matter how you are paying the bill. It's very simple. In postpaid, you have simple answer. In postpaid, billing address in the records of the supply. That's it. If available, if not available, then answer would have become Maharashtra. Normally, in postpaid address is available. New Delhi. Assuming you must know each and every assumption also. Assuming the address of recipient is available. Not actual address, available address as per the records. Or what? Maharashtra. It's very simple. So here also I have applied others. So others, the concept of others can be applied at any situation. You have to simply see. It's sufficient. Now before winding up, still I have not told you the meaning of telecommunication. Actually telecommunication has a meaning which is given in section 2 clause 110 of the CGST Act, which you can read later on. Refer section 2 to know the meaning of telecommunication services of CGST Act. And let me show you how the Act has defined this. So I have simply simplified this chart. Now let me show you how Act says, because in reality you have to refer the Act. So this is how Act has defined. So telecommunication is a little bit lengthy. Okay, this is how Act defines the place of supply to be determined in case of telecommunication. Place of supply of telecommunication services including data transfer, including, that means other than these also, anything can be telecommunication if it fits the definition of section 2 which is given. Broadcasting cable direct to home, Tata Sky, Airtel, telecommunication, television services to any person shall. Clause A. So it is giving you the case of landline. In case of services by way of fixed landline. Similarly, clause B. It talks about postpaid. So same provisions which I have told you. Clause C talks about prepaid. See the words prepaid. Within prepaid, you have three different categories. Selling agent was subclause 1. So I will read it as subclause 1 of clause C of subsection 11 of section 12 of IGST Act. This is how you go to that respective provision. It is where when not through agent but through any person. Then clause D, other cases, and exception was there that when prepaid services are installed through net banking. So I have also given that. That's it. So that's all from my side for today. Goodbye.